Hello, hello, hello. This is Adelai Brown, your heart coach, and I want to welcome you to Heart Talk this beautiful Tuesday night. Heart Talk is our weekly empowerment session where men and women from all over the country come together so that we can do heart work and grow heart equity. And I define heart equity as personal, relational, and financial wealth that we grow, cultivate, and obtain through authentic living. I am really thankful to be here with you today and really excited about tonight's topic. I know that there's a lot going on in the world. And you know what? Let me just say this. It's always a lot going on in the world, right? Like that's always going to be something going on. The Bible tells us that it's nothing new under the sun. However, what I have found is that we have to be willing to in times like this, when you find yourself in difficult, challenging times, I have now come to this resolve. What has this come to teach me? What has this come to how has this come to guide me, to lead me, to enlighten me? And I just want to encourage you, and I want us all to be encouraged that regardless of where you are in your life right now, regardless of what you have going on, you're valuable. You're very important. There are things that we need from you. There is a virtue and an essence that's on the inside of you that um nobody can take away. Please, I tonight I got on a little late. I might look a little scrappy, scruffy right now, but I was working out before I got on Heart Talk and the time got away from me. And so I didn't get a chance to shower or any of that after Heart Talk. So please forgive the sweaty shirt. I know some of you are like, whatever. I'll take my shower when I finish with Heart Talk. But one of the reasons I wanted to highlight that is because I was not going to walk today. I was not going to get out there and get some exercise done today, but I was reminded of the need for me to be in the best shape I can be in. I was reminded for me to be in tip-top condition so that I can go out there and be the warrior that I've been called to be, right? In Proverbs 31, it talks about a virtuous woman. But when you research that word virtuous, it's a Hebrew word for chayil. Chayil is Chayil, and that word stands for like a band of warriors. It talks about battle. And I truly believe that we as women, we have a power that when we harness it, it is like a battle axe against the enemy in our lives, however you define the enemy, whatever those challenges might be in your life. And I didn't feel like that. I knew I had heart talk. I knew I had things going on, which is why I got on a couple minutes late. However, I knew that if I'm going to be the best at what I'm doing here, I need to make sure that I'm taking care of me on the inside. I need to make sure that I'm taking care of the core things that I need so that I can be the best version of myself. And I just want to encourage you by any means necessary, do whatever it takes. I believe that a lot of times we're looking for perfect, aesthetically correct, politically correct situations and circumstances to take place in our lives in order for us to make a move, in order for us to do something that God is telling us to do, in order for us to make the shift that God is calling for us to make. And I just believe that the summon has already been made. The call has already been put out. Are you going to answer it? Are you going to answer it? That's one thing I want you to think about. And I'm just my heart is all over the place. I'm really excited and I want to highlight a scripture today that I feel like is very fitting for where we are in the world right now. I just had a conversation with one of my dear friends, one of my community partners and allies, and we were talking about some work that we are doing in the community and it we were just kind of looking at how much work we have done over the years and how sometimes you can look at what you're doing and when you're in the thick of it, and I know Miss Connie talked about this a couple months back, and I had a breakthrough with that. But when you're in the thick of it and you're going through things, a lot of times it feels like nothing is happening. It feels like nothing is taking place. It feels like things aren't working out in your favor, or maybe nothing is growing. Nothing is, like, you might be planting seeds and you're like, when are these seeds going to pop up? When is this breakthrough going to happen in my life? And I just want to encourage you not to give up. Because as I was telling her, and I wanted to talk to us about this, I said, I feel like you've been called for such a time as this to do this work. You might not be 100% clear on what this work looks like, but you know what it feels like. You're being led by something that's on the inside of you, that's like a guiding light that is taking you to where you need to be. So it might not make sense right now, but it'll make sense when you get there. It'll make sense when you get to the next checkpoint along this journey of life. And so I just want to encourage us. We see that there's war going on. Our country has gotten involved in this. We know that there have been things going on, some things we knew about, some things we didn't know about. But I believe that those of us that are in the community of faith, we need to be praying, but we also need to be putting action behind those prayers. We need to be seeking God on, okay, what is it that you're calling me to do? How are you calling me to show up in the earth? What type of resource am I to those that are in need? What type of light am I to those that are in darkness? What kind of salt am I to those whose lives have lost their flavor? Right? I believe that if we get so focused on what we see on the news, if we get so focused on what's happening in the world, we will lose all the focus on who we are. We will lose all the focus on what our purpose is, what we have been called to do. And lately, I have felt such an enriched sense of, man, we got work to do. Man, we got to uplift our people. Man, we got to remind people of how wonderful they are, how great they are. I was just sitting down the other day just thinking about how, what would my life have been like if I had never answered the call? If I had never started, you know, doing heart work and developing emotional intelligence and growing spiritually, if I had never allowed God to use me in the capacity that He's called me to, if I had never been obedient and did heart work, I remember, Heart Talk, I remember Heart Talk started September 1st of 2014. But I can honestly say that for 6 years prior to that, I feel like God, the Holy Spirit, was nudging on me. Start some type of Bible study, start some type of support group or something for people so that we can come together, so that we can um, release some of the tensions and the pressure of life, and also take away some tools, a different perspective, just take something away lighter, leave lighter than we came, heavy, and take something away with us when we go. And because I needed that, it wasn't so much about me pointing the finger, you need this, you need that. I needed that. And because I needed that, I felt like maybe, I know I'm not the only one, right? And what I have also found is that it's different strokes for different folks. Everybody is not going to like what you do. Everybody's not going to like the style. A lot of people don't like heart talk. A lot of people don't like that we talk about feelings. They think it's a waste of time. They think feelings don't have any place and feelings don't matter. That's perfectly fine that they feel that way. I don't. So for the people that don't feel that way, this would be a nice space for them. If you don't want to talk about those things, don't have to be here. But that's what we talk about, right? So I'm saying that to say I want to encourage those that are in limbo, that are one footed and one foot out, just not really sure what to do. Take a step. Take a step in the direction that you feel called into, that you feel led into. You might not have all the answers. It might not even make sense to you as to why you're taking this step, as to why you're doing it, but it's calling you in that direction. I'm asking you to answer. I entitled tonight's session, The Fearful Warrior, because what I don't want you to hear is that I'm saying wait until you feel like you're ready. No. don't like what I have found, because I have done this myself, a lot of times we mask fear as wisdom and strategy. Well, I just want to take my time. I just want to be wise. I just want to make sure I make the right decision. There's never going to be a right decision. We won't know until a decision is made in a lot of instances. And so, like, it was never going to be the right time for me to write any of my books. It was never going to be the right time for me to start Hard Talk. My life was never going to be aesthetically pleasing as I thought it was supposed to be before I could do something like this. Right. So I just want to encourage you, wherever you are, whatever you have going on in your life, we need what you have to give. And that's what I was saying earlier. I was literally thinking about the needs in our world and how, with all of the 8+ billion people on the planet, every need we have, the answer, the provision has already been made, and most of it is it's in, like, it's locked inside a treasure on the inside of somebody, and we hope that they let it out. We hope that they unearth it. We hope that they expose it. We hope that they allow their lives. Like, what if the person that invented, you know, the wheel had just decided, I don't want to be innovative. I want to be like the other people. We don't need this, right? What if the person that invented, like, the stoplight just decided we don't need this, right? What about the person that invented, triple bypass surgeries? Oh no, I want to be like all the other surgeons. We're just going to say this just can't be done. But somebody had this desire in them to do it. That's how I feel about us healing. Because I have felt the heaviness of the burden of being stuck in between. Being stuck in between something, a thought and a belief that's not working, but I could feel a higher, better thought for me calling. And most of the times, how I get through that is expressing what I'm feeling. And in doing that, I'm usually able to move out the craziness, the what is it, the white noise, move out the scar tissue, like when you buy some type of product and they send it to you, and in order to protect it they have like all the styrofoam and all that stuff in there. A lot of times when I sit down and get to process what I'm feeling, many times I realize how much those feelings are not facts, but if I don't address them, they often start to control me. And when they're in control, I'm not. And that's not a good space to be in, right? So I'm saying all of this to say, I saw last week that we're at war again, right? And it's a scary, it can be scary for some. Wars have been going on since the world began, and until it's end, I'm sure we're going to have some wars, right? But in this season, with our tour on the planet, since we talking about military, what are we going to do with that? And I believe that is a scripture I want to read, and I believe that God is calling us to do it afraid, but do it. Whatever it is, let's do it. I'm gonna pull a scripture up. You have any comments or questions? Anything you want to share? How you doing, Miss Connie?
I was just thinking about you. And when you were talking, I was sitting here and I was thinking that I read somewhere, it was on Facebook or somewhere, there's this thing going on where they were talking about how individually our spirits do not end with our body, you know? And that was just dawning on me. And I was thinking about that as I was thinking about what you said about being stuck. Because the reality is we're never not moving. We
Mm-hmm.
may be moving imperceptibly to what we consider slow, but we're always moving because the cells in our body and the molecules and the atoms are always moving. So there's a part of me that's intersecting with you,
Mhm.
and our listening. So we're always moving and and what I was sitting here thinking is now I'm 71. And what happens, and I'm thinking that this used to happen when I was younger too, I'd always be figuring some stuff or not doing stuff. And then when I got to the point where I'm supposed to be doing something else, I want to go back and feel bad about what I didn't do before. So I was never in this moment because I was always feeling bad about something that I thought I should have done instead of just dealing with where I was and what I did. I also was thinking how I always have a tendency to not appreciate something about myself until it's gone. And I'm always
Mm.
thinking, and a friend of mine, I don't know if I had told you this before, and it's real quick, but a friend of mine was sick and she was walking with a walker. And when I came over there, she was sitting there and she was complaining and stuff. I hate this. I used to be able to walk around the block and do all this thing. Now I'm stuck in this dang walker. It's horrible. I remember like 6 months ago, blah, 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 blah. Then about 3 months later, I was at her house and she was in a wheelchair. And she was saying to me, I hate this dang wheelchair. I remember I used to be able to walk at least with a walker and blah, blah. So she was never appreciating what she had until after it was gone. And I realized, and I say that because I realize I do that too. You know how we never appreciate where we are until we're not there anymore. And so I'm
Mhm.
trying to learn how to appreciate where I am in this moment and be
Mm.
glad in it
Mm.
and be
Mhm.
glad about it,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
not only recognize the wonderfulness of this moment when the moment has passed.
When it in hindsight.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so good. Oh my gosh, that's so good. It's so good because I feel like you gave the reason. I didn't have a reason per se to share with y'all, but you just explained the reason why I'm asking our tribe to appreciate what they have right now. And that could be given, right? Because to your example with your friend, when she was on that walker, who knows what would have happened if we had just been thankful we're on a walker? We may not have regressed. We may have gotten off it, right? I don't know. I'm not, but I'm so glad you said that because I feel like you saying that is a part of why I'm saying this.
Hmm.
Because I appreciate more than ever what I have right now. And I had to lose my mama to get here. Like I had to experience something that made me question, do I appreciate anything? And I realized I appreciate it way more than I realized when it was under scrutiny. If that makes sense. And if it don't, please tell me. But it's like I need it. It's almost like to your point. I lost her. Exactly what you're saying. I lost her. You appreciate it when it's gone. What can I now appreciate even more in the present, in the moment? That's why I appreciate being able to get on Heart Talk because I value what you just said. I believe we can't appreciate what's happening in the moment. That's what I was saying earlier, but you said it another way, which I love because I think is even more clear. I couldn't appreciate those things because I'm so bogged down with the minutia of what's not right, what didn't work out in the past, and I'm missing the present of what even could be right now. You know what I mean? I don't appreciate this until it's gone. Like I it there are some things that God has put on my heart to pursue. I had in my mind I was pursuing those things with my mother. I can stay in that space of I can't do it because she's not here, or I can carry her with me because then I'll get down the line 10, 15, 20 years and then say, oh, I really could have did that then. She didn't have to be here. But the time has passed, whatever, I'm regretting it because I put it on hold because it wasn't how I thought it should be. It didn't look how I thought it should look. It's not working how I think it should work. So I don't appreciate it. I'm not taking advantage of it now. Only when you get down the line do you look back and say, "Or maybe I could have done that. Maybe I really could have moved forward and pursued that particular situation. I wasn't as limited as I in the moment I felt like I didn't have any resources. When I look back, I had a lot of resources.
Can
So
I say
like,
something when you get a
yes.
minute?
Yeah, go
O-
ahead.
Okay, because here's the thing though.
Mhm.
We have to be careful with this because what I'm talking about, you're doing to yourself right now. You're
Okay.
doing to yourself by looking and thinking about what you could have done, and the reality is this is building. What I don't want this to be a takeaway of you're learning something new, but you're building, your mind is expanding if you start now, because you and your mother was where you were supposed to be, because in all of this thing that you're learning, they're lessons,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
you didn't do anything. You appreciated her at the level you were supposed to appreciate her then. And
Mhm.
sometimes it's in the absence and as we grow that we can look back and see some stuff. You
Mhm.
know, but that doesn't mean that we should have seen it or we should have done it, because now what you're planning is going to change. It's changing with your new knowledge, with
Mhm.
the things that you now know. So the things that you were doing then were good then, but you are moving exponentially fast because your mind is expanding out to encompass all kind of things that you weren't encompassing before, that you didn't even think about.
Mhm.
So your mother moving on to the next plane has also left you with the ability to see more.
Mhm.
You're seeing so much more now. So it's
Yes.
not about any regret for what was, because I believe your mother knew that she was going, but she
Mhm.
didn't want her going to be about grieving her because she wasn't going to be here. She wanted it to be about living each moment. So
Yeah.
that's why she didn't say anything about it.
Yeah.
She knew.
Mhm.
I believe she knew because I looked at her and thought she was looking really frail because she knew, but she wanted to continue to live all of these moments that she was there. And she wanted you and her to continue to have honest reactions that weren't about the fact that you were about to lose her
Yeah.
in this moment. So you have grown so much in this process.
Mhm.
So when I said that, and then you started going back, yes, I know. And then I look back to when I thought about, no, it's here, right here.
Yeah, and I guess maybe I didn't say it, but
Oh,
I
okay.
feel like what you're saying is what I was trying to say. I guess it didn't come across. What I'm trying to say is I'm not regretting it. I'm not. That's the point I'm making. Like before, it was all about what I should have done. Now it's more about I'm appreciative of
Oh,
right here. You see what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like I'm thankful for right now. It used to be a lot of I shoulda, coulda. Now, to your point, I've grown enough to say, no, it was what it was. This is what it is. And I'm thankful. You know what I mean? So yes, I agree with you. I really do. And that's why I'm so adamant about talking about our feelings, not harboring them, not wallowing in them, but expressing them so that you don't get stuck or perceive to be stuck in these places, right? Because the truth is, we're never stuck, but people don't know that. They're not aware. We talk about awareness. They're not aware that they're not stuck. They live like it, they believe it, right? And it's until you get that awareness, can you really get out of realizing I'm not even in something I thought I was in. That's the whole, it's really like I heard some quantum physics doctors talking about quantum physics. And when you hear them define it, it's the funniest thing in the world because it's really not like the definition really makes no sense, but it's a real thing, right? And that's why, and I thank you for that. I think because s- to feel the difference of that is very refreshing, right? To not wake up every day with a hail, like a fog of woulda, coulda, shoulda. Oh my goodness, that feels really good. You know that, and guess what? I had that before my mama passed, but it took that to help me to overcome. And that, I was just thinking the other day, if this is what it took to get delivered from that, let's just keep on moving down this road. We don't need to worry about what's back there. You know what I'm saying? Just to have that peace of mind, to not beat myself up so much internally, to not have such negative self talk. You know, it's everything. So I just, yes, and that's what I want. That's why I want us to keep moving. Understand that I believe that we war with, I say war just because of everything that's going on, and I'm getting ready to read a passage that ties into that when Israel was in battle. Judges, I'm going to read about Gideon, Judges chapter 6, I think it is. But I believe that we battle against whatever is not serving us, whatever is not working out for us, whatever attacks we're against. I truly believe that just showing up as your authentic self is like the best, one of these best defenses you could have against whatever's going on in your life. Just being who you are and embracing that, even if it's uncomfortable, even if you're still figuring it out. You might not even really know, but you just know you're not what you used to think you were. I'm still figuring out what it is. I'll learn as I go. And I believe that if we're going to be fearful warriors, meaning I'm not telling you to do it without fear. I don't think that courage or bravery is not the absence of fear. It's doing it afraid. And I believe that when we're called to operate in our purpose, I've researched so many people who stand out because they're so great in their craft. And I'll say 95% of them experience some type of fear or nervousness with doing what they feel they're gifted to do. I watched an interview with Oprah and Beyonce a couple years ago, and Oprah asked her, "Are you nervous when you go on the stage?" She just knew Beyonce was going to say no, and she said, "Yes, I'm still nervous every time." And Oprah was like, "Really? One of the biggest performers in the world? You've been performing your whole life?" Yes, because it's something about putting yourself out. It just makes you vulnerable. Being your authentic self, doing what you've been called to do, what you've been gifted to do, it does make you vulnerable. But it also, it's like a light. When a lighthouse is shining, you know how vulnerable a lighthouse is? It's just standing out there. It's just a sitting duck. Like if you want to drop a bomb on a lighthouse, it's easy to do. You got a whole dark ocean and bam, there's light. It's so easy. Being a light makes you vulnerable, but the darkness has to hide. And if we want to combat the darkness in our world, we need to lean more into being light. And I believe that's what Gideon did. So I want to read this and, just kind of tie it all into why I say we can be fearful warriors. Let's just be warriors and do what we need to do. So get Judges chapter 6. It's a really good chapter. I'm picking up at verse 33, but coming in at verse 33. Well, you know what? I'm going to just go back a little bit because it just makes so much more sense to understand um what was going on with Gideon and so the Midianites had pretty much taking over Israel. They were the Midianites were ravaging them. They were eating up all their food. They had pretty much came in and taken over the land. The people were living in like caves and just hiding for survival because the Midians came in and took all their crops, they took all their animals. They just came in and bullied them. They really did. And so they said that so Gideon so it says, the people cried out to the Lord because of Midian. The Lord sent a prophet to the Israelites. I went back up to verse 7. And it said, the Lord sent a prophet to the Israelites. He said, this is what the Lord, the God of Israel says. I brought you up out of slavery in Egypt. I rescued you from the Egyptians and from all who oppressed you. I drove out your enemies and gave you their land. I told you I am the Lord your God. You must not worship the gods of the Amorites in whose land you now live, but you have not listened to me. Then the angel of the Lord came and sat beneath the great tree at Ophrah, which belonged to Joash of the clan of Abiezer. Gideon, who was his son, was threshing wheat at the bottom of a winepress to hide the grain from the Midianites. So he has to hide to even process grain to make bread to eat. He can't even do it out in the open or they gonna come and snatch that away from him too. So he's preparing his food in secret. The angel of the Lord comes to him and says, mighty hero, the Lord is with you. Now he is doing something very cowardly in the act. That's the way it seems, right? But the angel of the Lord calls him a mighty hero. That's how he addresses him. And I just believe that when we show up and do, like, I believe that that's how God sees us. I believe we were all created in an amazing image for us to show up in at all times. And I believe that the angel of the Lord called Gideon what he was. Gideon didn't feel like that. Gideon wasn't necessarily living like that, but that's why our feelings are not facts. Because he didn't feel like a hero, but he was. He was the guy for the job and he was doing some cowardly things, but he kept doing it afraid. And that's the biggest thing I want us to get from this. So it says, mighty hero, the Lord is with you. That's what the angel said to him. So he said, sir, Gideon replied, he said, if the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? And where are all the miracles our ancestors told us about? Didn't they say the Lord brought us up out of Egypt? But now the Lord has abandoned us and handed us over to the Midianites. Then the Lord turned to him and said, go with the strength you have and rescue Israel from the Midianites. I am sending you. That part stood out to me so much because he said, go with the strength you have. Because a lot of times we think our strength is not enough. We think, I need more. I need more money. I need more time. I need more support. I need more whatever. But the Lord didn't tell Gideon, go work out. Go get the biggest, strongest man to come and help you. He said, go with the strength you already have. What do you already have? What can you already do? Back to your friend Miss Connie. You got strength with this walker. Let's walk around this block with this walker. Let's think we thankful for this. Let's go with this strength, right? And he says, because and rescue Israel from the Midianites. I am with you. Here comes Gideon. But Lord, Gideon replied, how can I rescue Israel? My clan is the weakest in the whole tribe of Manasseh, and I am the least in my entire family. What you said, Miss Connie? You're never stuck. Gideon's telling God, I'm stuck. I can't do this. And he's like, my family is the poorest. They don't ever, nothing good comes from us. Why would you come to me to say, if the big rich people couldn't do it, why would you come to me to do it? And the Lord said to him, I will be with you, and you will destroy the Midianites as if you were fighting against one man. It's a whole army. I'm talking thousands of soldiers. And the Lord said, I'm going to do it like you were fighting against one man. So then he says, sorry, I lost my place. Well, I'm going to skip down. I lost my place, but go with the strength I've given you. So then Gideon says, I need a sign. I need a sign before we can do this. He said, if you're truly going to help me, show me a sign to prove that it is really the Lord speaking to me. Don't go away until I come back and bring my offering to you. He answered, I will stay here until you return. Gideon went home, got a goat flour. He pretty much prepared an offering to the Lord and was bringing it back so that he can offer it to the angel that was sitting under the tree that was talking to him. And the angel of the Lord told him what to do with the leavened bread, with the meat, put it on the rock. And he did it. He gave him a sign right there. So the Lord told Gideon to go, hey, tear down the idol worshippers, tear down the idol of Baal, tear down the Ashtoreth pole. He did it, but then he was scared. And then he came back and said, I don't know if I'm the person that's supposed to be doing this. I'm giving y'all my condensed version. He said, I'm still scared. I know I got out of that. I know the men in the town wanted to kill me and my daddy, but now they don't want to kill me no more. But I still need another sign. So then the Lord, He did this whole thing with the fleece and the dew in the morning. I encourage y'all to go read Judges chapter 6 around 33. And essentially, when it's dew outside in the morning, Gideon asked the Lord, if you really want me to go and fight against this enemy army, I need you to let the ground be wet, but this fleece, this blanket I lay down, be completely dry. The Lord did it. Then the next day he needed another sign. Then he said, I need the ground to be dry, but only the fleece to be wet. The Lord did it again. And I want to share that because so many people in religion will tell you, don't question God. Don't ask God nothing. You First of all, I don't even really know what that means. I don't know how you don't. But anyways, you can. You can ask for signs. You may or may not get them as clear as Gideon, but you can ask for them. But don't get, and then when God gives it to you, you can see, you can ask for another sign. But I'm going to tell you, when there's something you're supposed to do, you get 12 signs. You just got to do it. It's just time to go and do it. But what ended up happening is Gideon and 300 men beat out the army. The army had thousands of men, the Midianites, and Gideon, with only 300 men, got the victory and ran them out of their country. And he was afraid. The whole time he was afraid. He never stopped being afraid, but he did what he was supposed to do. And that's all I'm asking us to do. Do it afraid, do it confused, do it frustrated. It might not work out the way you expected. This is something I'm learning, Miss Connie, and I'm taking a page out of your book. I'm not going to say it didn't work out the right way. It just didn't work out the way you expected it to work out. The way it worked out was the way it was supposed to work out. And now you're going to navigate your life and make decisions as a result of that. And ideally we learn as we grow. We learn as we go. We learn as we grow, right? So I'm just encouraging us. Be that fearful warrior like Gideon. Read Judges chapter 6 for yourself. I think it's amazing. It always encourages me because Gideon was afraid. Gideon pretty much argued his case with God, but why he wasn't good enough. And God said, okay, I heard what you said. Now go ahead and fight the battle. So he took that into account. So I just want to encourage you all right now, wherever you are, go forward. I promise the Lord is with you. And if he not, you'll figure it out. He gonna be with you regardless. Either way, he's gonna be with you. Just don't get stuck. I wanted to quit doing when mommy passed. I was like, I'm not doing this no more. I can't help nobody. I can't even help myself. Look at me. Getting ready to celebrate this 11 years of heart talk. I just had somebody last week listen to the replay from a heart talk I did in 2016. I just had to figure out how to get back in and listen to those replays. I'm trying to figure out who was around then that's still around right? They're not on this call right now, but whenever they can, they go back. They even go back and listen to replays from 9 years ago. Thank God I started when I did. And I'm still learning and growing. And maybe I'll get into a season of my life and I'll be doing something else, but I know I'm going to always be doing this work because I know this is what I'm called to. So I'm asking you, whatever you're called to do it. Do it afraid. But I can promise you, on the other side of the prayers you prayed, you keep moving forward in this action. Watch these things work out for you. It's going to work out for you good. Just keep moving forward. Like my grandma used to say, just keep on living. Just keep on living. I promise you. And I'm 42 years old, but I could tell you something. I quote that old lady every day. I said, oh gosh, my grandma used to say, keep on living. And I promise the more you live, the more you're not surprised by stuff no more. You just, people are people, and you just pray for them. I see why they could be so patient with us now. I see why. Because they had lived through some stuff, you know? So I'm just thankful. I hope that this has helped y'all. I hope that you are encouraged in being a warrior in whatever army or regime that you're in. Maybe you're in technology, maybe you're in healthcare, maybe you're in community service and outreach, maybe you're in art, maybe you're in fashion, maybe you're in culinary, maybe you are an at-home mom, maybe you are enjoying your senior days and you are pouring into the lives of others. Wherever you find yourself, we need you to keep warring forward and taking territory for us to keep living in a better world. Because I truly believe we can do it if, like you were talking about earlier, Miss Connie, our spirits don't end with our bodies. And I believe that when we show up in our warrior gear, being who we've been called to be, that connection is like an interconnection, and it's like that three-stranded cord. It's not easily broken. We can create a network of love and peace and breakthrough, and not woo-woo out of this. I truly believe is possible if we lean into it. So let's lean into it. Let's do it afraid. All right? Let's do it afraid. You have anything you want to share in closing, Miss Connie? You good?
Now we're good.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you to everybody that's watching us on YouTube. Those of you that check us out there. Remember, we are here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please share with your friends. Season 5 of The Heartline with Adelai Brown will be starting again in July. So we finished out season 4 and our 10 episodes. If you have not watched those, I encourage you to check us out wherever you find your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, iHeart Music. We're there. Go check out the episodes. There's some really good things on there. Really good conversations, and I'm excited about the conversations that are to come in season 5. So that's every Thursday, and we'll be starting back next Thursday. So not this Thursday, but next Thursday, we'll be launching season 5 again. And Wednesday morning prayer, 5 a.m. every Wednesday. And if you want to get connected to any of these sessions that we do to get connected in our heart tribe in a more tangible way where you can lean in a little closer, go to our link tree, linktree / the heart connections, and you can get access and registration information for all of this and find out more about the books and products and services that I have that are there to help you do heart work on your own time at your own pace. So I'm thankful for y'all being here. Thank you for being live in the room with me, Miss Connie. I appreciate you so much. Please send my love to Mr. Wendell. And just thank you, Heart Tribe. Thank y'all for being here. I hope that y'all are encouraged. Remember, if you have any comments or questions, please leave it below the video. If you have any topics that you want me to talk about, leave it in the comments. I'll check it out and take those things into consideration because we just want to make sure we're having conversations that are useful and that keep us moving forward. So I love y'all. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Remember, when you heal your heart, you transform your life. Have a good night.